The border between the U.S. and Mexico was deserted on Saturday, following President Trump's announcement he was closing the southern border.
Pictures reveal the difference a day can make, with the San Isidro port of entry at the border barren of all people and cars on Saturday.
The aerial shots show the border crossing at Tijuana, Baja California state, in Mexico empty as the latest U.S. travel restrictions come into force.
Just 24 hours earlier, the very same spot was heaving as lines of vehicles snaked through the parking lot waiting to pass through the U.S. Customs and Border Protection point into the U.S.
The U.S. and Mexico agreed to restrict non-essential travel across their border as both nations scramble to bring the coronavirus outbreak under control, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said Friday.
Trump said the move is necessary to prevent the spread the infection to our border agents, migrants, and to the public at large.
It puts Mexico on par with Canada, after Trump announced the closure of the U.S. northern border on Wednesday.
Both northern and southern border, they're both being treated equally, the president said during a White House briefing Friday.
The actions we are taking together with our North American partners will save countless lives, he said.
The decisions have been reached jointly between the countries, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced, and go into effect by midnight Saturday with a review after 30 days.
The United States and Canada jointly agreed to restrict all non-essential traffic across our border. This decision goes into effect tonight at midnight. The restrictions that we reviewed after 30 days, he said.
The United States and Mexico have agreed to restrict non-essential travel throughout our shared border. Both countries know the importance of working together to limit the spread of the virus and ensure the commerce that supports our economy continues, Pompeo added.
Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf said the border would be closed to everything but cargo and essential travel, such as for medical purposes or attending school.
Let me be clear that neither of these agreements with Canada or Mexico applies to lawful trade or commerce. Essential commerce activities will not be impacted. We will continue to maintain a strong and secure economic supply chain across our borders. A few examples of essential travel include, but certainly not limited to, individuals traveling for medical purposes, to attend educational institutions, for emergency response public health services, and those involved in lawful cross-border trade, Wolf said.
At one border still open Saturday, deported Mexicans were seen being marched out of the U.S. into Mexico.
Central American migrants were pictured at Paso del Norte International Border Bridge passing into Mexico, following the agreement between the two countries.
One shocking picture shows a man in a wheelchair wearing a protective face mask being wheeled out of the U.S. into Mexico by border agents.
Officials had announced Friday that, as well as the border closure, illegal immigrants would be returned automatically to their home country and not allowed a hearing to make their case or plead sanctuary.
The Homeland Security Secretary said it was being done to prevent the spread of the disease to border agents and the greater public, and was based on a recommendation from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
The CDC director has determined that the spread of the coronavirus and border patrol stations, detention facilities presents a serious danger to migrants, our frontline agents, and officers and of American people, Wolf noted.
He said the order goes into effect Friday midnight and argued the move was being done to prevent a strain on the American health system during the pandemic.
Many of these individuals arrived with little or no identity travel or medical documentation, making public health risk determinations all but impossible. It is also important to note that the outbreak on our southern border will likely increase the strain on health systems in our border communities, taking away important and life-saving resources from American citizens, Wolf said.
The latest travel restrictions came as the State Department warned Americans if they choose to travel abroad, they shouldn't rely on the U.S. to get them back home.
If you decide to travel abroad or are already outside the United States, then you should have a travel plan that does not rely on the U.S. government for assistance, the department advised. Consider
returning to your country of residence immediately using whatever commercial means are available.